Finding the way, one search at a time, matching hearts to missions, reasons to rhyme, with tools and processes, humble and true, delights for the moment he's helping you. Finding the way, through data and care, when others give up, somehow he's still there. His greatest reward is the smile that he sees when he's helped someone find what they need.
All right, everybody, it's Dean DeCosta Search Authority, and yes, that's the song that was made. Um, I guess it's going to be my opening and closing. Didn't hear anybody complain about it. So here's what I want to do today. Today's going to be an interesting day because this video isn't about showing you a tool, although I probably will. This is more about making everybody understand. Everybody's afraid. AI, I'm going to lose my job, blah, 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 blah. It sound like Dracula. Um, AI is a tool, and like any other tool, it's there to help you. It can be good or bad. I actually asked AI, what percentage of the time are there hallucinations or errors? Basically the same thing. 40% of the time. So that means 40% of the time it's going to be wrong or partially wrong or fully wrong. That's a problem. That's why these tools need to be used for the way they are meant to be, as tools. Understanding it's going to do all this analysis quicker than you, but you got to kind of quickly double check it, or have a QA prompt to double check it, one or the other. But you got to learn how to write prompts. The reality is this: the advent of AI, just like the advent of LinkedIn, just like the advent of the job board, just like the advent of everything, will change what you're capable of and will change what you're able to do, but it isn't only going to replace you if you let it. There's a simple old thing. It's art of war, adapt or die. If you decide you don't want to adapt and you're going to stick with nothing but whatever you do now, whether it be job boards, LinkedIn, or whatever, then yeah, you're going to struggle. You're going to probably get left out. But if you learn how to use these tools properly, you're going to be the one that's going to move on. You're the one that's going to survive. So let's kind of look at it real quick. I'm not going to get into too much detail here because, frankly, this is going to be the first in what's going to end up being a huge, long series, and it's going to be about AI prompts because I really believe that you got to learn how to write these things. There's so much you can do with them. So we're going to kind of go into a little bit. We're not going to do it all today. We're just going to go into a little bit. So in AI prompting, back in the day, we used to always talk about natural language, semantic, and Boolean. AI prompting is natural language. You just speak. You say it in a particular manner, put it in a specific way, and that's how you work it. So the AIs, and I hate the term AI, we all know why, I've been on my soapbox about that, is large language model. You can see it right here. I have it in front of you. Types, general, specific, internet, non-internet, picture, writing, bump. Those are the, LLMs. This is a training I put together to train people. This is some of it anyway. A prompt is a piece of text that basically is a directive or instructions on what you want, maybe even where to look, and how you want the information to come back to you. When it comes right down to that, those are the big things. There's more, there's different, and I'm going to go into them. There's different ideas behind it, and people have different ways, but that's kind of what it is. Prompt stacking is what happens when you take a prompt. Like, let's say you write a prompt that's going to tell you how many open jobs there are at a company. That's a prompt, however you write it. Then the next step is going to be, okay, well, list those jobs and where they are and how much they pay and that kind of stuff. Well, that's another prompt. With prompt stacking, you make them one prompt. So instead of just saying, um, acting as a job searcher, show me how many jobs there are at X company, it would be acting as a job searcher, and I'm paraphrasing here, so I don't think this is exactly the title I would use. Find me the number of jobs at company X and break them down by function. That's two different prompts, but you put it together to create one prompt. Next thing you'd want to do, of course, is add how you want it to come out, which in most cases is just a CSV with company name, title, and job function. But that's it. That's the idea. An agent, I like to describe agents differently than a lot of people. To me, and this is simplistic version. An agent is basically if you take all the information you have about a topic and you stick it into a folder, and you tell and you have a prompt, or you have an LLM designed to take its information from nowhere but that folder. That's an agent. It's just really kind of that simple. I mean, there's more to it than that. It says it's software entity that autonomously perceives the environment through sensor data, blah, 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 and takes action to achieve specific goals without requiring continuous human intervention. They can be called spaces by some LLM. It, it, yes and no. The reality is this: if you write a prompt to find information about X company and everything you have about X company is in a folder, and you direct the LM to only search in that folder, there you go. Hallucinogens, or hallucinations, whatever you want to call it, not the drugs, hallucinations, basically are errors, fake information. Sometimes the LLM will think it knows what you want, and you really don't. And it's not what you really want. It's estimated 40% of responses are hallucinations or incorrect error if you don't write your prompt correctly, and then that drops down significantly. Okay. Don't be afraid to ask an AI to write you a prompt. Why not? Ask it to write the prompt, look at it, change it, move it, do whatever you want to it, and move on. Where I use the AIs to write prompts for me is the style I like to use the most is called an outline method. And I'll say, hey, write me an outline of the information that I would need if I want to conduct research on X company. And it will break down what it thinks I should have. And then I look at it and then I start adding more in it, like, oh, I'd like to have their naming convention. I'd like to have what people think of the company from out in the social sphere. I'd like to have this, I'd like that. And then next thing you know, it grows and goes. But it started it for me, allowing me to not have to do it all on my own. Always QA, QC your prompts. There are tools out there that'll do it, which I'll show later on. Always QA, QC the prompt itself, just to make sure there's nothing in there that's going to cause trouble. Sometimes you'll find out you have redundant asks in there. Sometimes you'll find out there's spelling errors, syntax errors, and all those will play a part in it. In the end, remember this. There are boatloads of frameworks, and we're not going to go into them all now. We're going to go into them later. There are boatloads of different frameworks for creating a prompt, basically how you design your prompt. Will have three things in common. No matter what they call it, they can call it who knows, but they will have three things in common. A role or persona, basically as a recruiter, as of this, an ask or task, what you want it to do, what you're asking it to do, and then an output format. How do you want the information back? They'll all have it. Even a simple prompt like, tell me who won the baseball game today. Well, first of all, that's going to be a problem because you didn't specify. So tell me who won the Seattle Mariner baseball game today. Well, first of all, there's some implied thing there. Implied is, I'm a fan, or why would I bother asking? The ask is, who won the game? And the output's going to be, it's also implied, the Mariners or the Mariners or whoever they play. I mean, so sometimes it can be implied even, but it's still always going to have those three things. There's just no way around it. So over the next, I don't know how many weeks, I'm going to be putting together a series. I can't guarantee it'll be consistent, to kind of help you guys, give you a Reader's Digest version of prompts and prompt writing. And the reason I'm doing it is for one very big reason. This is today's adapt or die. Last adapt or die was LinkedIn. The time before that, adapt or die was job boards. Before that, the adapt or die was the internet. Adapt or die. This is it. The time to adapt or die. And this is the adapt or die part. Don't have to be an expert. Just got to know enough to get the job done. And so that's going to be it for this particular one. And we're going to get more into it. We're going to start breaking down some more information about LMs and AIs, and then break down the different methodologies, the different ways you could put prompts together, because there are a bunch of different frameworks, as they call them. And then I'm going to actually show you some of the ones that I use, some of the prompts I use, stuff like that. So this is Dean DeCosta Search Theory, and to take us out, let's see what we got.
The trenches, learning the craft, how to read between lines, the art of the ask. He shares what he's learned, lifts others along, knows that helping people is where he belongs. They whisper a nickname when his name comes around. The search authority, that's the respect he has found.
Wow, that was pretty good. I forgot I had that in there. All right. Well, there you go. Dean DeCosta, Search 30. May the sorts be with you.